Welcome back to the Going for Three podcast. This is episode 25, and I am one of your usual hosts, Chris Collins, aka AOB. And with me, as usual, we have Tony Farr, aka G, and Percy Thomas, aka PTP, aka Cade Cunningham Enthusiast, aka Orvin Bagley Enthusiast, aka I Heart Lions fan. How are you guys doing today?
AKA Hayden Hudson, Jameson Williams, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah,
It's a lot to cover.
we're good, man. We're good, man.
Chilling.
G, how you doing?
I'm getting there. Health is improving. We'll get there, but I'm here for it.
All right, all right. Well, we have some nice little topics to get in for us today. So, as you all know, the NFL draft passed by this past week, and some teams have some good drafts, some teams have some okay drafts, some teams have some bad drafts. What we're going to do is we're going to go into some of our favorite drafts, who we thought really got the job done and really made an impact on their franchise going forward. So, what we're each going to do is we're going to talk about drafts that we felt were most prominent individually. So, who wants to go first with that one? Gramps,
do you wanna
you're
go
going
first?
first.
I'm going first.
You're going
Okay.
first.
Right off the top.
Um. All right. Well, we can get into some. We can get into some obvious. I guess we'll get into an obvious one. Uh, as you know, I hate to like gas up our dude Scooter, but uh, the Ravens. I mean, okay, they didn't pick a, you know, they didn't go wide receiver early, but I mean, you get Hamilton, you make the trade,
Getting Linderbaum.
the odd Hollywood Brown trade. You get Linderbaum, you get Ojabo in the second round. Uh, I mean, Travis Jones, Falele. I mean, I'd say not a fan, but of the team, but really love the draft. Uh, who else? Um, you know what, PTB? I'll go with your boys. Um, I mean, Hutchinson, I think is going to be just a dog. I don't care what anybody says. I think he's going to be a dog. I know he probably wasn't like the happiest camper that he fell and y'all took him, but he's going to be a dog. Uh, the more I thought about it as like the days went on, I was stunned by the Jameson Williams trade, but now that some time has passed, I think it was genius. Um, I think he's gonna be a monster in your offense, and you know, good for y'all. Goddamn, I'm trying to do this off memory, so bear with me. Um, uh, Pascal, is that how you say it? Josh Pascal, is that how you say his name? Pascal.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good pick. Um, theoretically good. I think he could have been a late first pick, but I mean, where you got him, great. Uh,
How do you feel about, or I guess this is more sort of PTP, but also the U Gramps, but how do you
Mm-hmm.
feel about James Mitchell? I feel like that might have been a questionable pick.
um, you know what? I think he's a little bit. I think he's a little bit of a mixed bag. Like, I don't think he's going to give you much receiving. He's not the
Oh,
best blocker, but he can block. So I
wasn't
think
much of
that's
a
probably
need,
going
was
to.
it?
Yeah, it was a little bit of a need because with the way Hawkinson gets hurt, but it was mainly due to the receiver spread that we had before as well, so that should be minimalized. But when Hawkinson goes down, we really never had like a really like for sure tight end backup for him that resembled a little bit of him. And Mitchell before he got hurt, I saw from I forgot what tweet I was on, but it was like a Lions page. He had around like the second best yards per catch rate, per catch like number, second to Kyle Pitts from before the year that he got drafted. So before the injury, he probably would have been a top, but he would like a round 2 pick maybe. So the
But
ceiling
I
is
think
there.
also, I think also I don't think he's an excellent blocker, but I think he's a serviceable blocker. So if you want to use him in more like, say, jumbo packages to help in the, pass protection or even like run game sweeps, because with running with Swift, because or Williams or whoever they're going to run out there certainly helps there. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 5th-round pick. I mean, if they drafted him like in the 2nd or 3rd or something, I could see it being questionable. But in the 5th,
Yeah.
it makes sense. Sure.
He'll definitely be serviceable or of use because yards per catch is like one of the more important things for a tight end in this era anyway. So if he can at least be half of what he was before the injury, we should be good with him.
Okay.
Let's see who else. Green Bay.
It rounded itself out.
Yeah, as a whole, yeah.
Yeah, I think now their defense will, still be good. I like their 1st-round picks. I know they didn't pick a receiver in the 1st, but I like Walker and Wyatt as picks. Definitely needs picks. And realistically, I mean, trading back up and picking Christian Watson at 34, that's basically a late 1st. And a lot of mocks he was a 1st-round pick anyway.
Yeah, but at the end of all the receiver lists, though, rightfully so.
Yeah, he probably was like 4th or 5th out of everybody, respectively.
And they're good. They're good at making non-1st-round receivers, serviceable to great, as we know. And they did draft 3 receivers overall in the end. I like the Sean Ryan pick too in the 3rd round. Probably could start, very well start because they definitely needed it to help. I mean, overall, I thought they did pretty good. Those first 3 picks, starters for sure, and probably Sean Ryan too. Probably starts. That's 4 starters. I'd say it's a good draft. Let's see what I do. Ravens, Lions. What was that 3?
Yeah, 3.
Your Kansas City Chiefs.
No. How dare you?
What? Yeah. What? Y'all had it really. Y'all killed it.
You already took PTP's team. Now you're gonna take my team? How dare you?
Yeah. Why? I can't be objective and admit y'all killed it in the draft. I
I
mean,
wanted to pick somebody else so I could talk about it. But you got it now. Go ahead, take it.
well, I won't go into a ton of detail. You can do that. I just think top to bottom, great draft. Great draft. Right. Y'all drafted at least probably 4 starters.
More than likely, yeah.
And I'll just say this here: getting Karlaftis at 30, mega steal. And I really like the Chanel pick too. I mean, another major steal. Y'all just did great. Y'all did great, and y'all get your props. You could talk about them as much as you want.
We do. I mean, this is more so just an established fact at this point. The Chiefs do draft well.
Y'all really do miss. I will say that. Y'all really do miss.
I mean, Kansas City's not really the biggest, free agency destination. So I mean,
Scouts got to be A1.
Yeah. So now I will say, in recent memory, we've been decent in certain positions. Like we've definitely gotten some decent receivers, free agency wise. Macklin, Watkins, and things like that. But yeah. I mean, it's doesn't have the same name as other places. So,
and all right, and my 5th one, I'm not going to take an obvious one here.
Mm-hmm.
Like that most people will say. 'Cause chances are one of you's going to say it anyway. So I'll let you go into detail that. I'm going to include the trade, but I'll say the Eagles. God, I hate them. Ugh. You know, getting Jordan Davis, Jurgens, Nakobe Dean in the third round, and then obviously, still having 2 first rounders next year, and then trading for AJ Brown and giving him receiver wise a fine contract like that. That's only $57 million guaranteed. We got some competition in the NFC East, so I can't hate what they did. Howie Roseman did a phenomenal job, and trust me, the bile in my mouth saying that because it's the Eagles. It's painful, but
Okay.
So there's my 5.
UTP.
Yeah. Well, no, I gotta find this one real quick, just off the top of my head, 'cause I don't really remember what it was. I'll probably go through them as I go. All right, so obviously, I gotta pick my guys. You feel me? I gotta pick my guys. Got the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like you said earlier, Aiden Hutchinson, Jameson Williams, Pascal, and all that. But I want to really touch on just this specific one because I feel like he probably could be the middle linebacker of the future. Malcolm Rodriguez. For the round that he's taken in, I feel like that was pretty much a steal. Looking at his tape, he's attentive. He gets in the lanes. He's small, like he's 5'11", but he's strong. Like he stuffs holes for a 5'11" middle linebacker. Gives us an element defensively that I don't think we've had since I don't know if I can even say like DeAndre Levy, because Levy played lanes, but I don't know if it was to that extent. But I feel like that. I feel like overall, even though it wasn't some of the picks that I wanted for from a notoriety standpoint, I probably wanted Chenal myself when we didn't take him. So overall, I still feel like it's a pretty well-rounded class. Number 2, I'm gonna go with the Jets. Overall,
yeah, I was gonna pick them, but I figured one of you would. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure it might be on Chris's too, but they had the best first round by a mile, in my opinion. Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, who's arguably top 3 in edge rushers for this class. If it's not Aiden, Jermaine, and Kayvon, then I don't know whose list you're looking at. But Jermaine Johnson could definitely turn into something crazy. I'm not really sure what they did in the past. They probably overall from throw through alone, I feel like they should be that's a top class right there. Even if they stopped at 1, but that's how I see it. Let me see. Number 4, I'm gonna go with the Bengals. Not the Bengals. But that's 4. That's 3. That's 3. I'm gonna go with the Bills. That's why I added 3. Sorry. Bills really didn't do much too flashy, but they got people that filled all the holes. Kyer Elam, corner, perfect for really just what they had going as far as they were really depleted in their secondary when White went down when they played the Chiefs. So obviously got to get depth of that. James Cook, who could be considered a steal in the second round, mainly because he can not only run really well, but he's also a pass catcher. So more versatility in the backfield. I feel like he could just become their number 1. So then those are probably the one of the last picks I want to talk about is them getting Khalil Shakir out of Boise State in the 5th round. Should be really interesting to see how he meshes with Davis and Diggs. Pretty much Cole Beasley's replacement. So you can kind of say it's high expectations for him. So I feel like he'll turn out pretty well. Let's see. Next I had the Cardinals, who outside of the weird trade to bring Hollywood in, the draft really wasn't that bad. You get Cameron Thomas, a pretty fundamentally sound edge rusher. So if all goes well, he could be very much the predecessor to a J.J. Watt or even Chandler, which side they line him up on. And them getting Trey McBride, who, once again, arguably at his position is probably the second first best tight end in the class. Good hands, he can block. Inspiration is George Kittle. not really much wrong you can go with like having that be the guy that you look up to. And lastly, I'm gonna go with the Bengals that I brought up earlier, but I had him in the wrong position. They took Dax Hill, so as much as it sounds like a homer thing because he went to Michigan, he literally just does it all. Like he could be a corner, he could be a safety, plug and play type of guy. Very, very good, very solid. Cam Taylor Britt, once again, a corner that I'm pretty sure he might take Eli Apple's position because I doubt he stays after this season. They just really went with a lot of players that either enhanced their other positions, like their edge rush, and even with Zachary Carter, who people didn't like. Florida puts out a lot of good edge rushers, in my opinion, so he should be pretty fine. But they prepared for the next season, like the next off season, if they lose certain guys, certain pieces, and just enhance on the talent. And obviously from the off season, they built their whole line, so they helped Burrow out a lot. So the draft really wasn't a necessity for them. So that's the 5 that I got.
Okay. I like the variety here. Okay, I'm liking the variety. Good.
Well,
I was
hate
hoping.
to break to you. I don't know if I'm gonna have a bunch of variety because I'm gonna pick who I think had the best draft. I had to say that you did.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a lot of overlap.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Because we all see the same things. No particular order. I'm gonna keep it out of order just for shits and giggles. We'll go with the Chiefs first. Yes, we know they had a phenomenal draft. With round 1 being rounded out by arguably top 3 cornerback prospect, and then one of the better defensive ends and edges in the draft in George, who fortunately fell to us. So I'm glad that we took him. As you guys know, I was really clamoring for a receiver.
It was the wrong George, but a good George nonetheless.
At times, I could be described as distraught at our decision to not take a receiver in the first round. But they eventually took someone in the second round by the name of Sky Moore. Good steady hand receiver. He'll be a nice steady player, not someone who I wanted. And I still stick by that, although he is a good player, so he does still add to the quality of the draft. Brian Cook, safety, that's good depth. Leo Chenal, I think if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm not really. Yeah, I'm not really too in love necessarily with that pick, and just because I don't know if he really matches our linebacker playing style. But listen, if he can get some of those other guys off the field, then I'll be okay.
He will.
Yeah, I'm not gonna name no names. We know if he can get some of those other guys off the field.
We can probably guess what you mean, but as far as like, especially on that middle interior.
Exactly. That's all I'm gonna say. As far as day 3 for us, rounds 4 through 7, I see some potential steals. I mean, we know that the Chiefs, we've had some struggles at cornerback. At least as far as depth and consistent quality, we've kind of had struggles, off and on for a couple of years now. So I mean, we took what is this? Three DBs, 2 corners, and another safety. I really like the Jalen Watson pick from Washington State. I think that he's going to be able to come in and compete right away. And apparently, that's what everybody else thinks too. They were talking about his great instincts, attitude, and they was basically saying we drafted McDuffie in the first round. We drafted him in the 7th round, but we expect the same. It's high praise in my book. Also took running back. I mean, it can't hurt to have depth. I will say that I like our running back drafting pedigree. So if they took him, then he must be nice. I feel like we've drafted good running backs in the past. A couple of Hall of Famers here and there. No big deal. Yeah, yeah, that's my first team is the Chiefs. I go. Let's see, second team. I'll go with the Jets. Obviously, PTP talked about it. I mean, their first round is the best first round of any team. I mean, by the sheer quantity and quality, they nailed every pick. They had 3 first round picks. So like, I feel like if they only had 2, I feel like I can kind of compare it to other teams. Like Giants or even maybe the Chiefs. They had 3 and they nailed all 3, and they nailed all 3 in a need. They needed playmaking. They got Garrett Wilson. They needed edge rushing. They got Jermaine Johnson, and who's the other one? They needed
London.
No, London went to the Falcons.
no,
Gardner.
they didn't
Gardner. Yeah,
yeah,
Gardner.
yeah, and they needed some stability and some consistency at that probably number 1 corner position, and they got one of the best prospects in the draft, if not the best prospect. So, great day for them. I mean, they also added a lot of secondary good pieces. They picked up Brees Hall, running back. A lot of people think that he might be one the best, if not the best. He's definitely up there, one of the best backs. In the draft, and considering the Jets having the injuries that they had to their running back room last year, I would probably say that's another good pickup for them. So, yeah. I see. I'll go next to the Giants. Now, I mean, yeah, I like their first round picks. Not the Jets just by sheer volume, but the fact that they were able to take Evan Neal and then they were able to get Kayvon is huge to me. You guys know how I feel about Kayvon. I've been talking about it.
Yeah.
Since we were talking about our top 10 prospects, I think he was the best like pure edge rusher from a talent perspective in this draft. I think that he was victim to a lot of noise that just got in too many people's ears. And yeah, you shore up both sides of your line. That is a recipe for success. You know what I mean? So especially for the Giants, we know their offensive line has been terrible these last few years. So I mean, it was a huge need. It was a huge need that's also going to help them answer questions. They need to know who they have in Daniel Jones and whether or not he's a real building block. So shoring up that offensive line was a priority, So they also picked up a receiver, Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that I didn't like their weapons. I mean, they have to stay on the field, but I think it can't hurt to add some depth, and I think he can definitely add that. So
You don't think it was a bit of a reach?
I mean, it's not the worst reach in the draft. So I mean,
Okay,
really,
that's fair. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
It's
so
not.
I mean, because Tony wasn't
they
that
felt
bad
that-
to me. Well, Tony
Yeah,
didn't
what-
really get that bad from last season when he was on the field. So
Yeah, it could be considered a slight reach, but like I said, I don't think it was that bad. I mean, they clearly liked him, so I mean, they went for it, and I feel like the Giants are probably feeling really good already. We got Evan Neal, we got Kayvon. It's just crazy. So, let's just keep the juices flowing.
yep.
But yeah, and then let's see. Yeah, I know. I said I was gonna pick a lot of the same, but now that I'm here, I don't want to. But I guess I have no choice. I feel like I felt that like there were really like tiers to the draft. I feel like there's like 5 teams, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less, that really had like an A-level draft. I don't think there's that many teams that had it. So I mean, I know we already spoke about the Baltimore Ravens, but I'm gonna bring them up again because I think that they're one of those teams that had like an A-level draft. You bring in somebody like Kyle Hamilton who has so much versatility, like so much hybrid use. He's going to be able to be used off rip in so many different ways. He's going to fit in with the Ravens. This is a great pickup for them. And then obviously getting somebody like Tyler Linderbaum or Lindenbaum. What's the right way to pronounce that?
Linderbaum.
Linderbaum. Yeah, he's gonna be an anchor for that offensive line for a long time to come. So I mean, pretty good pickups. Let's see who else they draft. They took tight end Charlie Collar, who I'm not too familiar with, but I mean they do love their tight ends over there. So I mean, if he could add depth to that position and even be another pass catcher or even another blocker, I mean that's depth. That's depth that they're gonna need that they like. So and then also they also took another offensive lineman. So I mean, can't hurt right there. So they like to run the ball because the offensive coordinator over there he runs one system, one formation. He likes to run the ball. So, and depending on who you ask, getting rid of Hollywood may or may not be a positive. Depending on who you ask, not me, but depending on who you ask. Is that 4?
Getting this far.
See, who's my 5th gonna be? I know I can't. I would say the Eagles, but I don't know. I can't really include the draft or the trade. I feel like that's not fair. Is that fair? Is that fair to include that? It's not really the draft.
I think most people would say so because they traded a first round pick for him.
That's fair. Can I say the Chiefs twice?
Uh-uh.
You gotta double down.
Grants is not fucking.
Hey, I already said him too. You don't need to double down.
Maybe the Washington Commanders.
Jesus God, I almost had a heart attack.
Maybe the Washington Commanders. I mean,
damn, you almost killed an old man.
I mean, you guys picked up Howell in a pretty late round, and he's got the talent.
Could be a steal.
That could turn around and be a sleeper. I mean, you obviously got your receiver in Jahan Dotson.
Mm-hmm.
You were able to somehow not trade Scary Terry, my great misfortune.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at your picks. You got a Cole Turner. It was at the 5th round. Yeah, I'm not mad at these picks. I don't know how I feel about what's the running back you got?
Brian Robinson.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I necessarily feel about that pick. But especially in that position. But I mean,
Gibson's had some injuries. We don't know if it's going to be a lingering problem. He's not the best in short yardage and goal line situations. So, as a depth piece or as an insurance piece, possibly a replacement, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I really, to be honest, I do like a lot of your picks, but my main reason for picking them is the potential of Howell paying off to be like a starter level or a starting caliber quarterback. If he's able to be a successful starter, which I think he does. Like I said, he has the talent to be. I mean, to get him in that 5th round, that's pretty huge. It's gonna look like a really good draft in a couple of years if he pays off.
Hey, I'm with you, man.
But yeah, I mean, that's my 5. My 5, yeah. Yeah. Those are my 5 teams that I feel like probably had the best drafts.
Hey, I fucks with it. I like your list, man.
I'm sure you do.
Of course.
Well, naturally, we talked about the teams that had a successful draft. So, of course, there are teams that did not, that are in opposite, that have had terrible drafts or didn't either address their needs, for a multitude of reasons. And I guess this time we're going to use just to address some of these teams that either A, just picked wrong, or B, didn't really address their needs, and or there's a couple teams that really just didn't have the draft capital because of previous trades and things of that nature. But I think that we can also include them in this as well if we want to. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll go. I'll probably I'll take it first. I'll take it first. The Bears, terrible draft.
Totally,
Terrible
totally,
draft.
totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah, it is a
They
awful,
didn't even try.
awful draft. I mean, Kyler Gordon can be something for sure, but I mean, I think they need weapons, and I mean they took a receiver in the third round, but
One of the biggest reaches of the draft.
yeah, a
Multiple
huge
reasons.
reach. He's not really. I don't even know if he really was a full-time receiver in college necessarily. More of like a receiver / return man combination, and he's already 25. He's already a little older.
Yeah, or about to
Now,
be. Yeah,
He'll be
Yeah,
25 going into the season.
and at that age, he's not really like a polished like route runner or anything like that. Like he's not polished as a receiver. He's fast, but it's just like you got to have more than speed, man. They didn't have, and I mean I know they didn't have a first round because of the Justin Fields, but I mean they didn't take an offensive lineman either early in the draft, which probably should have prioritized. Yeah.
I
I mean,
completely
they
don't.
took Braxton. Yeah, they took Braxton Jones, but I mean, he's a fifth rounder for a reason.
I absolutely, unequivocally agree with that one. I don't know what the hell they're doing. It's like the old regime still there. I don't get it.
They still calling Matt Nagy for advice.
Yeah, the stink is still there. I think.
Man. And then I mean, let's see. I want to touch on the Browns a little bit too. I want to touch on the Browns. So I know that they didn't have a lot of picks because of the Deshaun thing, but I want to talk about the fact that they drafted a running back because that makes no sense to me. And on a team who keep in mind they haven't cut Kareem Hunt yet, so in my mind he's still on the team. They have Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. Was it Dearness Johnson?
Dearness Johnson. Yeah, Dearness Johnson.
You have three. You have arguably. Well, I'm just gonna go off of his production last year. You have arguably 3 starting level running backs.
Fair, yeah.
Because when they were hurt, Johnson, his production to me felt like he could be a starter. So, it doesn't make any sense on why you would draft, even if they were planning on cutting Chubb. Still, I mean, no, not Chubb. Even if you were going to cut Hunt, you still have Chubb. You still have a capable backup. You shouldn't be spending draft capital to find your third running back because there's no need to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was really just it. I mean, yeah. I mean, they had some decent picks in there, but that to me, this was bad. Winfrey was a good pickup for sure, the defensive tackle, but
well, the one that really I think stands out to me that I didn't really get overall, I didn't like overall the Patriots.
Interesting.
Look, I get it. I get the Cole Strange thing. I get it. Bill develops linemen. He tends to get them any and everywhere. He goes to small school pro days. First round. Yeah. I'm not. I'll give him benefit of the doubt because of how he develops offensive linemen. Chances are the dude will be a 13-year starter, and okay, but it's just like you know, Tyquan Thornton, he's okay. I don't think he's going to be a game changer. Second round pick. Um, you know, okay, you drafted corners. You've got running backs. Same thing with Cleveland. You've got Damian Harris. You've got Ramondre Stevenson. Why are you drafting a running back? Why do you need 18 running backs on your roster? It's the same thing with Cleveland. Like, I don't get it. And I'm not trying to hate on Bailey Zappi, but like, why?
I think
Unless
that was one of the only picks that made sense to me.
really,
Just sounds like an insurance policy because I mean he's good for quarterbacks.
I mean maybe, but like get you a veteran or something. I mean, why do you got to draft a rookie quarterback to sit behind your second-year quarterback who is giving you no reason to believe he isn't going to be your starter for the next decade?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I just look at their draft and I don't see any like pop there like that guy's gonna hit. I don't see it. Nobody. I'll give Bill benefit of the doubt on his development of offensive linemen, but yeah, I didn't like it at all. So that's the one that sticks out to me. I mean, Chris kind of stole other ones from me, so I don't really need to. He put it eloquently enough that I don't really need to add.
Oh, but there's plenty of teams that had some bad drafts though. Like I was saying, I tell you, couple of
them. Well, because I'm just getting into it. First one for me is the 49ers because I really feel like they didn't have any direction with their picks at all. Outside of it's like for every hit on a pick they had, it was a miss almost immediately after. Like Drake Jackson in round 2, you get a good lineman in Drake Jackson, so you do good with that. You take a Tyrion Davis Price out of LSU, another running back in a field that already has. Do they start Raheem Mostert?
They have multiple running backs.
Yeah, it's like
Mitchell,
Trey Sermon. You drafted last year. Like it's just an overly bulky field of running backs. I mean, obviously they mostly work out well in their running by committee team, but that's just OD. Trying to figure out where the next stand-up pick is. Okay, so then they had like a 6th round pick. They took Tariq Castro Fields. It's crazy to think that I even had to go to the 6th round to try to figure out where their next good pick was because he's a pretty good corner. I'll give them that. But then they finished out the draft with Brock Purdy as a quarterback that you're drafting when you already have Garoppolo, who, I mean, admittedly could be out the door. I don't know. But literally, your backup for him, which is Trey Lance, is literally right there. Why would you need to have a backup, third stringer type of thing? It just makes it's a lot of confusion. Like, I don't know if they draft them, like, way ahead or just, like, 1 is not enough or 2 is even lesser. Like, I don't know if it's that type of thing with them, but it just didn't really click for me. It'll probably work out because of their development, but And lastly, I'm going to go with the Titans because, granted, they probably didn't want to pay A.J. Brown. You traded him to the Eagles, and you drafted his replacement, which would be Treylon Burks, who now has some of the highest amount of pressure because now he has to replace a wide receiver in his age range that was pretty solid when he played. Like, when he was healthy and on the field, A.J. Brown can produce for your team. So if he's not either him or a little bit better than that, the trade's going to look bad a few years from now. You got Roger McCreary, you got Nicholas Petit-Frere. Like, you got a couple of good picks sprinkled in there. But then, now the Malik Willis pick, I just kind of want to touch on it because it was kind of funny but messed up at the same time. talent-wise, he's a great pick. I understand. Probably was a can't miss prospect. He's athletically great. I understand. Your starting quarterback, Ryan Tannehill, just says off the rip, it's not my job to help this kid at all. Like it's not my
Yeah,
job to mentor
that was a
him.
bad look.
Yeah,
That was
like
definitely a bad look.
yeah, it goes to basically say that either he feels threatened, which obviously he should be, but to go on record and basically like have a quarterback who really hasn't really given you that much either. I mean, you've made the playoffs a few times. I understand now y'all aren't completely buns, but outside of that, he hasn't given you anything. For him to go out on a limb and basically be at 34 and say that I'm not gonna at least try to partially sprinkle some wisdom on my replacement is just completely idiotic. So I don't know what type of chaos they got going on over there. I mean, I thought Haskins was good too, but they just those specific picks of Burks and Willis, they have extra attention on them that they don't need over things that they really can't even control. So hopefully it pulls together for them before the season starts or during the season, but just something to keep in mind.
For sure. I mean, all of these things that we talked about, even the teams that had good drafts, is all stuff for us to look, keep in mind, keep an eye out over the season. Because I mean, hey, these things could definitely change. Teams could move up, teams could move down. Bad drafts could look good, and I mean, hey, good drafts could end up looking not so good depending on how these guys play, injuries, things of that nature. So for sure, it's definitely something to keep a lookout on. Before we move on to our next topic, a quick word from our sponsors. All right, and we are back. So a lot of news, in the NBA for sure. It's playoffs, and first round is passed. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go through these first round matchups and give you guys what we thought, our first impressions of these matchups, the outcomes, and the implications of said outcomes. And we'll just start on the Eastern Conference first. We'll go in order. So,
Sure.
First matchup being Miami versus Atlanta. Miami wins 4-1. Initial thoughts, outcome, implications.
Trade played awful.
Okay.
They should have won at least 2 games. And I think they need to turn over half that roster.
Did you not see the torture chamber that young man was in?
Oh, he was in a blender for sure. He was in a blender.
No, he was in a food processor.
They were eating him. No pause.
I mean,
I don't blame him. I'm not blaming him, mind you. Me saying that, I'm not blaming him
Yeah.
at all. But
no, I mean, I definitely agree. I was of your mindset last year when they made the conference finals. I was like, they need to cash in these young chips while they're high and go get them a bona fide star. And those young chips in my mind at the time were Bogdanovich, Herter, and Collins.
Yeah.
And even could have been Capella. Cash those in for a legit other blue chipper. But not only did they not do that, they traded away their other potential blue chipper in Cam Reddish.
One of the worst
so I
trades
mean,
looking back on it, by the way.
it wasn't a good trade. I don't get it. I mean, the team is entirely too Trae Young dependent, and I mean, although there's other players on his team that aren't helping, he also is not helping in the same light. Like, I'm sure he wants to be ball dominant. I'm sure he wants to play the way he's playing. You know what I mean? Like, it takes some commitment on everybody's end for that to change. But they're not going to win consistently this way for sure. Especially now that that surprise year is over. They kind of caught people by surprise the year before. Like, now he's getting superstar treatment. You know what I mean? So, and rightfully so. But it's just like, we're not gonna let you beat us. You're either gonna be a full-time facilitator or a full-time scorer. You're not gonna do both.
Yeah, and plus with last year, I mean, like I said, like with the whole Cam thing, like last year they had a guy that when Cam was back from injury, he was giving him 20. I think he even had a game. I don't know if he had a game where he had 30, but he was danger creeping up to it.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
yeah,
I think he did.
it's like you had an extra supporting cast member who, quite frankly, even before they're like drafting him, or even when they drafted him, like I felt like he would have been a better number 2 for Trae Young, just specifically because he does what Kevin Herter doesn't, and that's defend.
Yeah.
And then as far as like how the team is constructed, like Gallinari doesn't fit this team. For a fast-paced team, you can't have guys like Gallinari at your 4 or at your 3, kind of coming in because he likes to slow things down. He's getting sped up because now he's not only trying to watch Trae Young, but he's trying to also try to get himself open. And Trae Young, as we've seen through the first round, he can sometimes throw arid, panicky like passes, and the rest of the team is just not ready for it. Even with Capella back, it kind of dwindled a little bit, but with a team that gets sped up as much as they do, because Trae Young is only 6'1", he gets boxed up a lot because you throw 2 big bodies at him, come up the court, boom, bada bing, bada boom.
He not even 6'1".
Oh, he's 6 foot.
I don't think he's 6 foot.
Yeah, I mean, I looked it up. I think
Trae Young, bro.
he's a compact 6'1".
I think Trae Young's like 5'10", bro. And that's real shit. He's not. I don't. He's not no 6'1". I would be. There's no way. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I feel like if he's stood next to Chris Paul would be taller than him.
Yeah, because I looked it up one day because I was like just questioning it, and yeah, he's like 6'6'1", but he's like a really compact 6'6'1".
That shit compact. He's skinny.
Yeah,
tiny.
It's like that's just crazy, but also not to take away from the Heat though, because I mean, Jimmy Butler gave us a little bit of that bubble Jimmy magic. He's cooking. Kyle Lowry before the injury, doing his part. In the closeout game, Oladipo showed up from off his injury.
Wait, what I would ask you guys is, did anything happen that you didn't expect to happen?
I thought the Hawks would win too. Honestly,
That's fair.
Honestly, even though
did you still feel that way after game 1?
I think game 1.
Did you still feel that way after game 1?
What that they would have? What that they would have? Yeah, I still thought they'd win too.
That's fair. I mean, after I watched game 1, I said I thought this shit was gonna be a sweep. Yeah. Just because I just saw how they were guarding Trae Young, how hard he had to work, and how even yes, Trae Young is that everything else and a bag of chips. Being 6 feet tall, small guy, and to ask you to carry the offense in every facet, like
like no one else on the team like dribbles like he does at all.
I mean, we've seen forwards that have a lot, bigger bodies, more physical, can rely a little bit more on that, have a hard time doing the same thing. I mean, I know that Trae's immensely skilled and talented, but that's just a lot to ask. Yeah. Especially because like all his impact has to be offensive. He's not going to give you any defensive impact. I mean, he can give effort, and he might be able to, not be a complete negative at all points in times, but I mean, even with the Heat, the way that they play, they have live people on the court most of the time. Everybody that's on the court is live to do something. So I mean, you could attack Trae Young at any given point, make it work even more on that other side of the ball. It's just a lot to ask. And yeah, like Graham said, they need to I don't know about overhaul, but they need to get an elite secondary playmaker, and they probably will have to overhaul to do that. But that's what they need.
They're probably 2 players away from actually being a resemblance of what they were when they made the finals the year prior to this.
I mean, I'm not taking anything away from them. The Hawks definitely made it, but in my opinion, it was definitely a combination of that surprise year and the Sixers just imploding.
That is also true. We could definitely say that was in part.
Because you're just not gonna get beat by one person like this, especially like 6 feet tall. Like I don't know. Yeah. Like he's not. I don't know. That is like. And I'm not saying he can't get there and that he won't be that, but like that's like LeBron AI levels where you're asking him to just beat just complete
beat a
competent
team
teams
solely.
like this.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just not.
with the personnel too.
It's
That was
just
also a
not gonna
problem.
work. Yeah,
Because Spo ain't going
but
for it.
no, hell no. It's too many defenders, too many dogs, and the Heat are not the team that are gonna lose to a person single handedly.
Yeah,
They have to have too much pride and just too much,
too much experience
just
too.
too much dog, man.
Yeah.
Either way, though, let's move on to a series that I was told that. Well, no, I take that back. I take that back. We're just gonna move it. Like I said, we're moving in order. So let's move to the one that Gramps wants to talk about. Let's go to Boston versus Brooklyn. Boston complete the sweep.
Told you.
4-0. You actually did. You
We
said
said
5.
5.
But we're gonna get to that. Yeah. Let's talk about the sweep. First reactions, outcome, and implications. I would like to go first, if you guys don't mind.
Yep.
By all means.
All right. Let's see. Congratulations to Boston for playing smothering defense and being a competent team. Shame on Steve Nash for being incompetent coach, and he should be fired. I've never seen. Actually, I take that back. I have seen. I haven't seen in a while a coach in 4 straight games not make any noticeable or impactful adjustments. I've never seen a coach run the same offense pre-trade, then after the trade, continue to run the same offense.
With lesser talent.
He ran. I mean, it's like he ran a very similar Mike D'Antoni system. Heavy ISO breakdown play make off of that. But then you lost your elite playmaker. You traded him away. But then you still tried to run that offense. And like D'Antoni's offense works with like guys who are elite playmakers. And if you're an elite scorer, that really unlocks it. That's what we saw. Like, you have the elite playmaker in Steve Nash, great teams. You have the elite playmaker in James Harden, who can score and play make. It completely unlocks it.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. They not only did Kevin, but the Nets did as well. They played right into Brooklyn or into the Boston Celtics game plan. It didn't really change a lot. Kevin allowed the defense to really smother him. It got to a certain point where he just wasn't taking shots, and that should never be the thing, bro. Just take shots. Like, shoot the ball. The Nets, for whatever reason, at times didn't feature Kyrie. Not really sure what that was about. He had a fantastic game 1, and then after the fact, for a large majority of the rest of the series, he just wasn't featured in the same way or in the same light. On the other hand, Boston, one of the main takeaways that I saw from that was that Tatum can be elite defensively. I did not think that before this series. I do now think that. I always thought he was a really good defender, but now I think he can be an elite defender. And if he's able to be an elite defender, then in my mind, there is a real true path for him to be MVP in this league, personally. See what else. You guys' defense is just great.
Preach, brother, preach.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the defense was amazing. We already knew, what Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum could do individually. It took about half a season, but Udoka really got through to those guys to play the right way, play off of each other, and commit to each other offensively and defensively. And then also as well, just as far as when it comes to the matchup, Brooklyn Nets didn't have rim protection, so
yeah.
Also Steve Nash rotations were also stupid, So,
There's mind you, there's guys on the bench that are like fully suited up that just never see the floor.
I like Claxton as a young player, but at a certain point in time, you got to sit him down for either the consecutively missed free throws or the fact that he's just completely like they keep putting him in the pick and roll and he's not giving you anything on offense. You know what I mean? Like you could throw LaMarcus Aldridge out there and he'll get hunted the same way on pick and rolls, but he will also give you buckets. He did earlier in the year before he got hurt, and he didn't even have a dramatic injury. It was just an injury, and he's just older.
Yeah, like a little.
And then Claxton just all of a sudden, like Claxton just took his minutes for whatever reason, I don't know. And like, in a series where you could tell they just needed more offensive sparks. They just didn't play him. You know, I mean, and also, I say that to lead this last point though. The role players didn't let the Nets down. That's not why they lost. They lost because their star players didn't get it done. I mean, I'm pretty sure between Bruce Brown, I think Bruce was averaging like 16 to 18. I think Curry was averaging like 14. They were getting production from other guys. Dragic had some good games. Yeah, so it's just like, as far as going forward, I think I mean, they gotta get Ben out there. It's really hard to tell, honestly, without Ben out there. I mean, yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, that's like really the only key factor, because you can't really say like going into like the off season that they need a playmaker, because the guy that they traded for in return, some would be that playmaker, just hasn't played in like a year or two. So it would have to be a situation of like when the preseason rolls around, the off season, like how has Ben evolved, and then how he plays with that team. But that's that's very much an if. But yeah, I like, as far as like,
he's supposed to fix both their. He's supposed to fix or remedy both their issues, like the playmaking issue and the defensive issue.
I have no
doesn't have to guard Jason Tatum.
I don't know what's about that, but mainly, like, because a lot of people just, they don't want to make that jumper, right? So, like, that's the evolve part of it. But even then, like, going back to the Celtics, like, they, like Chris said, I didn't know Tatum had that in him. I watched a few Duke games, and I don't think I've seen a game where he literally was able to, at some point, single-handedly take a guy out of the game. Like, he even blocked.
Well, I'm not gonna say he single-handedly. He definitely got shades of help left and right at all points and times.
Yeah, but
that was their game plan.
Yeah, but like, not to say like he like single-handedly did, but it's like there's like certain points where like it was like a little spaced out area, and like Tatum had to contest a shot, like you got to block, got him. Like when he had to be the solo guy, he didn't crumble. But overall, team-wise, like how you said, like they clamped up. Al Horford is one of the best old centers I've seen in a long time. He was blocking shots. He was making threes. I don't know what it is about Boston and Al Horford, but like y'all were just meant for each other. Like, I don't know what it is. Like,
it's a match made in heaven. It really is.
Like,
he's been great for Boston ever since he's been there. It's just,
and he's fresh. He basically didn't play last year.
And but they had a whole year.
So he was practicing. Yeah, he doesn't look worn out.
Yeah,
he looks spry for a 35-year-old.
All right, Graham, so go ahead. Get into your spiel. Let's hear it.
I don't really have much to add to that other than, like, all the people are like, oh, the Nets are going to win the series and yada, yada.
But here's the thing. You didn't anticipate the things that
I did not. My expectation was, I said Boston 5 because my thought process was,
I remember I do remember what you said.
If Tatum and Brown can more or less cancel out KD and Kyrie points wise, which they did, and then some. I said the rest of the team, Boston's team, I would outscore Brooklyn's others, Boston's others will outscore Brooklyn's others.
And it was complete
And
opposite.
so, I mean, I was on a track. It was flip flop, but I just saw Boston as the Brooklyn as a mess. I'm not. It has nothing to do with talent. They were just an absolute mess.
You're right. They were a mess.
An absolute mess. Boston was cooked. Boston was cooking. The best defense in the league. I mean, as the season ended, they were the best defense in the league. Basically, practically 10 deep defense, smothering defense. They were cooking teams, and I just figured Tatum and Brown would, as long as they could mostly cancel out points wise, KD and Kyrie, the Boston's just a better team. And it showed.
They were.
And it showed.
I agree. They were definitely the better team. I just thought, that thought KD would play better, and I thought Steve Nash would coach. Shame on me for that second one.
I will say I'm surprised KD didn't play better. I'm not really, honestly, I'm
not surprised at Steve. This
is not. I'm definitely not. Despite the fact that KD and Kyrie were like, we don't really need a coach. It's like just figure here, we'll figure it out. But
people keep bringing that up, bro. Like
no, I just
want to address it because everybody says it, even as a joke. But yes, they said it, but they didn't mean that, because if they did, they wouldn't have respected Steve.
No, but that's the point. They had a coach, and it just seems like they tuned him out for both good. I'm saying, but for both the right and the wrong reasons.
But I'm saying, what adjustments did he make? What did he do?
I'm not arguing.
I'm just saying, what evidence do we have?
That's the right reasons for tuning him out.
But I'm saying, what evidence do we have that he tried to do anything that was tuned out? Is what I'm saying. He didn't do anything. He didn't try to do anything. Even when they asked him about it, he's like, he didn't. He gave no inclination that he was trying to do anything new. So we can't just assume that they tuned him out. I'm literally saying he didn't do anything.
Well, I'm not.
He just stuck with it and said,
I'm not saying I'm surprised by that. I am surprised by how KD played. I'm not really, honestly, and I'm not just being a hater here. I am not really that shocked about how Kyrie played.
I know you're not, but the thing is,
you have something
because that's his. That's how Kyrie is. They get down and then he mentally just tunes out. It's just what he does that. He has done it before.
But
so I'm not surprised that he's
also been down before and played well and came back and won.
Well, this is not that Kyrie.
This is a better Kyrie. You're right. This is a better version of that. This Kyrie is better than that Kyrie was. When you look at, when you have a team like Boston who is just full of perimeter defenders, it's full of just length perimeter defenders. Like everybody can, even the big Al Horford can guard perimeter. Hey, you have this, and you just keep telling your guys, your two perimeter players, hey, just keep banging your head against this ISO wall. We'll eventually break through, even though we're gonna basically double, even triple sometimes when he drives KD every time. But no, let's just keep doing it. No action, no different sets. Just give KD the ball, let him bring it up the court, and just go 1-on-5 every possession, every game, while also asking him to guard Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
Besides
coming out of this series, I don't think that Jason Tatum is better than Kevin Durant. Jason Tatum definitely gave me something to solidify himself a little more, but I didn't come out of this thinking he was the better player, because what I'm watching is just incompetence. Coach.
Yeah.
You know, we can talk about KD.
Jason Tatum is not better than Kevin Durant right now. That series, he was the better player.
I'm not arguing that. That's what happened. But I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying the reasons seemed like they could have been.
Do you think
remedied to make the answer harder?
Do you think Brooklyn needs to make more changes than just the coach?
Mainly
like I
their,
said
it's
before,
mainly
it's
their coach,
so
honestly,
hard.
to me.
It's so hard to tell that because of Ben.
Yeah.
If Ben is able to, if Ben comes back and has been like first 2 years, Ben, not these last 2 years.
LSU Ben.
He's like, no, I'm like rookie year, sophomore year, Ben Simmons. If he's that guy, then they'll be fine with like just making minor roster changes. You know what I mean? Like if he's able to do that, then you can really keep everything. Besides, like, I mean, if you believe that Claxton's going to be able to be a rim protector, then keep him. But other than that, if Ben is Ben, all you really need, in my opinion, is like a rim protector. I would try to find like a floor stretching rim protector. That's what you need for somebody with Ben to be on the floor, to be able to stretch the floor offensively.
They theoretically draft one.
They absolutely could. I mean,
Well, that's PTP's avenue right there.
I
So-
mean, to
But,
keep
I
it a
mean-
stack with you, if we're thinking about them drafting one, they're climbing a big tree. That's all. They're climbing a tree.
Well, I mean, they do have a pick.
Yeah,
Right?
But
I mean-
yeah, like they weren't that bad enough to get, because like outside of like Chet and Paolo, Duren is in a stretch. I don't think Coburn's in the draft. Dickinson's probably the closest they'll get, honestly, but I don't think that's a first round pick. So I mean, they probably would.
I mean,
have
yeah,
to free
but
agency to get
on
their
a
stretch
team
big,
on a
honestly.
team with the personnel that they have, it's going to be easier to find guys to fill that role because you literally just have to, hey,
Yeah,
protect the rim, and if you're open, shoot the ball. Like, I'm not asking you to do anything else. You don't have no other responsibilities.
yeah.
Just rim run, and then when we get in our sets, move out the way, and then when we're on defense, protect the rim. I mean,
plus in a way, I mean, I think Dwayne Dedman's contract is expiring in Miami. That's probably like a
I-
safe bet.
I've
That-
never
that-
been a Dwayne Dedman fan personally, but I mean, hey.
He'll fill the role because he did have a couple seasons where he was shooting. So closest probably comparison to like plug in their hole. But if they want to draft one, then I mean, they scouts would have to be ice cold.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot of turmoil.
Like I
in
said,
Brooklyn, though. A lot of
Yeah,
turmoil.
it's harder for me to give you a straight up answer for that, Gramps, until I can see where Ben is going to be. That's really where it stands, honestly.
Yeah.
And we'll move on though from that. Milwaukee versus DeMarvelous, and Milwaukee versus the Chicago Bulls. For those who don't know who DeMarvelous is, just to.
Not so DeMarvelous in that series, but anyway.
Oh, did anybody expect anything?
Yeah.
I mean, Milwaukee wins 4-1. Chicago pulls out a game from DeMar dropping a 40 ball, and I mean that's really all I expected. I think they drew the worst matchup they could have gotten.
Especially
I mean,
without.
yeah,
without their
they
best
play
perimeter
if they play
defender.
Boston, they probably still get up out of there in 5, but I think there's a chance they can get to 6. Milwaukee, they just had no answer for Giannis, bro. He's literally just missing on purpose so he can just get his rebound and just bang on you. Like it was.
He started getting
It
disrespectful.
was. Yeah, it did. It did.
But
I don't really have too much to say.
It's a lot of
No.
There's a lot of things wrong with that Bulls team, honestly, in my opinion. Like they kind of got
Yeah,
they got exposed in a
there's some-
variety of ways.
There's some changes that need to be made.
They need.
I'm-
they need their guys to be healthy.
I'm gonna go.
Lonzo,
I'm gonna
Caruso.
go. I'm gonna go a little Bayless here.
Boy.
Mhm.
I'd say 50-50 Levine's gone.
I don't think that's a hot take. And he
Ah.
definitely has a chance to be gone. I don't think he has a lot of loyalty to Chicago. I mean, he likes being there, but I mean, if he has a better situation, he'll go there.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah. But I mean, outside of that, it's like, I mean, if Levine walks, I mean, more or less, I feel like the fact that they were
that's
missing Lonzo,
terrible. That would
It's
be very bad.
yeah.
That would be
It-
very bad.
I
if he
think
walks.
they would
terrible
probably work
offense,
out.
but, yeah.
I think they'd work out a sign and trade probably.
If it's not to Washington, that is a disaster.
For what?
Bradley Beal.
Yeah,
If it's
Bradley
not for
Beal's fucking
Bradley
up.
Beal, it's a
Oh,
disaster. If it's not for another star player, it's a disaster.
Yeah.
It is. It's a disaster, bro.
Yeah.
Like they should absolutely do everything in their power to keep him.
Yeah.
so so for example, they could get like Rui, Kuz, whatever else that doesn't
Disaster.
work. Disaster?
Disaster.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
That's bad.
Okay.
This is still like, yes, it's not like the top heavy league that it was when the Warriors have their 4 guys, but it's still driven by stars. You need at least 2. And if you don't got 2 solidified, you need at least 1 megastar and like 2 like,
Could be stars.
occasional all-stars, a la Giannis with Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, or a la,
Jokic with Murray and Porter.
yeah, or Devin and Chris, or who else? I mean, there's plenty of teams with Jalen and Jason.
Yeah. Damn, what's another one?
Yeah, I thought PTP would ride me on that one.
Wait, as far as
I ain't
gonna lie. As much as I
mean,
love Rui, that leaves a gaping hole for shooting guard for them. I wouldn't even let that happen.
You can't compete having one like all-star level player.
Because Vooch isn't
Well,
what he was.
I guess Vooch is all-star, but yeah, it's just.
He was an all-star, but I mean, to be honest, not to say that he's bad, but to me, I just feel like
He played
because of
offensively. He played well.
Yeah,
he played very well in the season, and I think he played well in the series. But it's like he can't guard Giannis. That's not a thing.
Once in a while was a problem for him.
I mean, he's a 7-footer, and he got post game. You know what I mean? So
they just battling it out.
They need to. I feel like I was saying this at the beginning of the year. Patrick Williams, that's just not going to work. I'm not saying he's not a good player, but their need at that position, he's not fitting.
Yeah,
they need like once again. Actually, this one doesn't need to be.
They might not need a stretch.
A floor stretching. It doesn't need to stretch, but he needs to be an elite defender for sure. He has to be. They need to get somebody who's going to be able to guard Giannis and or Jason Tatum. Yeah. Now that's a tall ask. But somebody that they can stick in front of wings / forwards and keep Zach LaVine. They could be in some trouble. They could be in some trouble.
Yeah, but the only thing is being healthy, though. Honestly, that's really all.
Yeah.
If they had Lonzo, maybe the series looks a little bit pretty. They probably still get clapped, but it looks a little bit better.
They may win 5. I mean, it may get to 6, but I doubt it still.
Yeah.
They had Caruso guarding Giannis out there. That shit was disgusting.
That was torturous.
As far as the Bucks, they're the Bucks. They have Giannis.
Reigning champion. I mean, there's nothing new.
Championship contender. Yeah, they knew that they could beat the Bulls at any time.
They played with him, and then they just gave him.
Yeah, they toyed with them. They toyed with them.
Yeah, the first game they was like, okay, we're just here. Second game they was like, okay, now we're done playing, and they proceeded to destroy them three games straight. So
especially Drew.
Yeah. Anything else on the Bucks and the Bulls?
Nope.
No.
Nothing.
No.
Okay. All right, moving on to the 4-5 matchup, Philadelphia 76ers versus the Toronto Raptors. And I was told by 2 wise men that the Raptors would beat the Sixers. And my response was, I said, you guys are insane. They have nobody to guard Joel Embiid. And y'all were like, I don't know. And I was like, but I do. That shit was crazy. And what happened?
Granted, in our defense,
No.
It still go to 6 games.
It did go 6 games, and quite frankly, if not for injury, it could have very well gone 7, and it could have gone Toronto's way. It could have. You can't say it couldn't have.
I could have been 6'5" and been in the league.
Hey, I be honestly, respectfully, like you look at Gary Trent popped off, Scotty Barnes.
No, they were up. They
popped off.
No, they were up 3-0, man. But I'm not gonna say that a team like yes, like there's a chance it could have happened, but I'm not gonna sit here and say a team that was down 3-0, no. I'm like, no. You were down 3-0. Like I'm just gonna say Doc Rivers team not getting it done because it's Doc Rivers or something. But no, they were down 3-0. Like they got clapped.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm gonna say. They got yes, they made it look respectable, but no.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I mean that's really all I kind of had to put on it, though. I mean,
Yeah.
the
It's
Raptors
a shame
definitely
Embiid
did have.
it's a shame Embiid got hurt. Shouldn't have been in the game, but
Yeah.
Should we just surprise the
I
Raptors
mean,
though? Outside of that, I like their team.
yeah, I mean, I like the Raptors. I think that I don't think that they should flip anybody, but they are gonna need a like Kawhi level talent to get back into like truly competing again.
Maybe
Or
a
they're
true
gonna.
center, more or less.
I don't know if they need it. I don't think they need a true center necessarily. I feel like they just need like that blue chipper. And if they're not gonna get that, then they need Scotty Barnes to turn into an all-star level talent along with Pascal, along with Freddie and OG to get to that point too. I feel like to where they can kind of turn themselves into like the Heat of the North type shit.
Yeah.
But
Plus
I
Gary
don't
too.
know.
I ain't gonna lie, because Gary, I
Yeah,
like
and
Gary.
Gary, yeah, and
Gary
Gary
could be
too.
an all-star to me. I love Gary's
Yeah.
game.
Gary is nice as well.
That's a team to look for in the draft though, because they'll probably be in that like 15, 20 range. They could probably get somebody good that works for them.
Yeah. The Sixers, I mean, they went all in.
Yeah.
And when this doesn't work, because it won't, they're gonna be in trouble. Joel will be like 28 and 29 with 30-plus-year-old Tobias, a 30-plus-year-old James Harden. So yeah,
Danny Green probably
I mean,
about 35.
I wasn't even including him as a part of the team, but yeah, he plays for them. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he there.
He's definitely
suited
there.
up.
He's definitely suited up, but I mean, Tyrese Maxey is just not enough to continue to build with in prime. Yeah, at the end of their prime, more than likely, Joel Embiid. I mean, he's not too far off from getting close to 30 either. So it's
plus Matisse too, because Matisse his jumper hasn't improved in my opinion.
no, he's a defensive specialist. That's what he's going to be. That's to me that ship has sailed. He'll be one of the better perimeter defenders in the league. But the days of thinking that he was going to turn into like old shit, forget Kawhi or Paul George, that he was going to turn into like an OG. That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's the Australian Tony Allen.
Shit. I ain't gonna say his defense like that. He's nice though. But yeah, they might be cooked.
Might be chopped, kind of chopped.
Yeah, they might be chopped. Yeah, James is lost a consistent step, and he's just gonna be he's gonna have to be a different player. You can't give him max money. You can't. And my thing is he shouldn't even ask for max money because he doesn't even play like a max player anymore. And it's almost like when you watch him play, you can tell like he's not taking the same amount of shots anymore because he just it feels like he knows that he just can't, score that efficiently anymore. Because he just lost that step. That quickness was just such a big part of his game and set up everything.
Yeah.
But let's see, that was the what was that, the 4-5?
Yep, that's the East.
Yeah, that's the East.
So that was the whole East?
Yep.
That's all of them.
Bet it. All right, moving on to the West. Number 1 seed, Phoenix versus the Pelicans. And what happened here was exactly what I said was going to happen. And I'm so glad it did.
It was like I thoroughly
it was the perfect. Yeah, it was the perfect storm. It happened. It happened exactly how I wanted it to happen. It was like the Suns, got the job done, but also in the process, Brandon Ingram was able to showcase that, hey, I'm on this same level as these other guys. I'm in that same
Right.
category. Yeah, I'm literally like I'm in like when next time you talk about Donovan Mitchell, Book, Tatum, and all that, hey, you better mention me at the bottom at least. I'm
Throw
in
that
that same
BI
category.
up.
Exactly.
And you know what? It really showed because I was a little unsure when the trade was made at the deadline. CJ McCollum really fits that team.
Yeah,
I
he
really
does.
like his fit. I really like those two together. I think they play really well together and play off each other.
CJ's a bucket, man.
I don't know if I want to go there. I don't know if I want to go there.
Go where?
I oh
Let's hear it.
you're gonna make me Bayless on you.
What's up with it? What's
I
up
not
think
with
gonna.
I think they're better off without Zion.
Oh, I completely disagree though about that for sure because you saw their ceiling. You saw their ceiling this, at this point in time. Like, yeah, with this team next year, they probably won't be an 8 seed. They could probably be like a 7, 6, or a 5. But even still, like they play the Grizzlies or the Warriors.
It's gonna be a
With
tough
this
out.
current team, it's still going to be like a 5 or 6 game exit. Zion is the one that allows this team, if it works, to be almost unstoppable.
'Cause that's
He's the one that really allows it because, when you like think about how like the Clippers played the Pelicans in that playing game.
Mhm.
Anytime that CJ or anytime that Brandon Ingram got the ball, especially Brandon Ingram, they were doubling him, shading him, doing all these types of things. And like all these other guys that were either, stretching out to shoot or cutting to the rim weren't converting on like a great efficiency, at least to the rim. Like, yeah, Murphy was getting hot toward the end, but like, think of it like this: when you have people paying extra attention to like Zion, or not Zion, but paying extra attention to Brandon and CJ, you got an unstoppable force that's able to cut to the rim in Zion, and he shoots like 60, it might be 70% at the rim. Like, you get him a full head of steam, that is impossible to defend.
Not many people want to
And
get in front
if
of
you
him.
If he's healthy and in shape, which
Hey,
I don't trust.
he
I
doing
mean,
bounce
here's
between the legs in practice. He's ready.
I mean, well, no, I'm not gonna say he's ready. I feel like everybody that was saying that he was ready because he was doing that, I disagree with, because like that don't mean nothing to me. He got to be in game shape and everything. And I agree with the Pelicans for not playing him because you're not in game shape, bro. Like, you can't just do a dunk and then just be like, okay, I'm ready to play. Like, you haven't been playing full 5-on-5 with your team. I don't
Oh
care
no!
who.
After he did that dunk, but he was puffing after that.
Yeah, and it's just like people have been like, he's been playing 5-on-5, not with the team, just random guys. I don't know who they are. They're not with the team. He hasn't been practicing with the team. But I will say, bro, I think that, I'm not gonna lie, and I think this is partly because Zion is still young too. I feel like he kind of felt some type of way about not being out there, and you could kind of tell like when they asked him about his extension, because he's like, I couldn't sign it fast enough. Because now that
that team looks
now the
fun
Pelicans
now.
have shown him, and they showed him a direction, even though I'm one of those people that thinks that he hasn't accomplished anything to have to be shown anything. Like, you haven't accomplished anything for me to have to explain something to you as an organization. But that's another conversation. But now he sees, we have a good young coach, we have good young players, and now we have direction. Now he wants to be involved again. If Willie Green and his staff can figure out a effective way to incorporate Zion into this offense that features Brandon Ingram, it will be scary, and they will be a top seed in the West for years to come. They will be one of the favorites if they can figure it out with these three players.
Yeah,
But you got it's a tricky mix though, for sure.
Yeah.
But it has to be their offense how it is right now. The focal point has to be Brandon Ingram, because he's the shot maker. He's the guy that's going to be having the ball, and putting pressure on the defense. With Zion being able to be an elite finisher like he is, he doesn't necessarily need to have the ball like that. And I feel like, and Zion can pass too. I'm not gonna say that he's like the
he got
same
some
level as
dots.
like a Draymond Green. I'm not gonna say he's like the same level of passer as a Draymond Green, but you can definitely kind of take some pointers from how Draymond runs with the Warriors. Like a lot of times when Draymond gets the ball at the top of the key, like he doesn't have the athleticism to finish, especially anymore. Like those first couple of years, you used to see him kind of take that and even dunk it sometimes.
Yeah.
You put Zion in that same position where he can get it, make a quick decision, or finish at the rim. That's scary.
Yeah.
Like their fullest potential is with Zion, but it's a tricky fix.
Yeah, I very much agree with you on that. As far as like Zion with this team as constructed, especially even with their role players now, like Herb Jones I love his game. Him and Murphy.
Yeah, those are two building blocks.
Yeah, like that
Moldable.
dynamic is like Herb kind of being the lock, and then Trey kind of sprinkling that in, but he still got the chop. Then Alvarado just a pesk. Like there's a lot of potential with like them getting Zion back into full game shape and having to be like Zion's like the third option on a team like this, high second even. Like that's tough. That's tough to stop.
Yeah, I think he should still be. He should get the second amount of shots. But my whole thing with Zion is like this: the way he plays. I feel like you don't have to run a lot of offense for Zion. That's the thing. Like he can just get his in like cuts.
Yeah, he's a visible lob threat. Like you can't miss him cut to the paint. So
yeah, like back cuts, live cuts. You can even quick post ups.
Yeah.
Seal offs. Like he can just get his points in so many
break. Like he's gonna eat
of those hustle plays. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like it. Yeah. I don't know.
But one thing about Phoenix though, I'm not gonna lie. Not to say that I'm looking like too far ahead, but well for the inevitable thing of like Chris Paul, hanging up the shoes or whatever. The Suns are in good hands. Not only is with Booker, but Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, Mikal is a perfect player.
He showed like he's not just a defender. He's not just a spot up shooter. He can put it on the floor, give you some buckets. I think he went like 4 for 4 from 3.
Yeah.
Like the dude is an absolute stud. Like, man, they need to keep.
He's a really good.
They need.
He's a really good player.
Yeah.
They need to keep them both. Yeah. Well, I mean, they already paid Bridges, but they're going to pay Ayton too.
Yeah, because especially after this, like he's shown he could bully in the post. He got his mid range back popping, defensively. He terrorized Valanciunas multiple times. They got to keep that together for sure.
No, for sure. Just touching on Bridges. I think his next point, he can already shoot the 3 ball. He has a really nice mid range. Like they run like some sets for him where he's kind of swooping across the free throw line a lot of times, and that's a shot that he can make very comfortably. I think the next step for him, especially when Chris Paul kind of hangs it up, to really focus on that, like the ball handling,
his playmaking
aspect of his ball handling aspect of his game. He really should watch somebody like Kawhi Leonard for sure. That's who he should be watching, honestly.
Oh, for sure.
Because to me, that's like a great comparison. They move differently. Like Bridges is a lot more free flowing, where Kawhi was a lot more robotic with his movement. But for sure, definitely somebody he should watch. And then, just Chris Paul closing that game out, not missing a shot. Could it end any better for Chris? And I don't mean Paul, I mean Collins. Could it end anyway? Could it end better for me anyway?
That was the moment that Chris was waiting for.
I mean, yeah, it could. Game 7 NBA Finals, he does that.
You're getting ahead of yourself. I'm talking about for the game at the time. The game at the time. 14 for 14, 33 points. Close it out. I mean,
point guard.
Yeah.
Well, I know, point guard.
Point guard. The original point guard.
GAWD. We do that GOD. GAWD.
Man, exactly. But yeah, I mean, Suns did what the Suns supposed to do, but also the Pelicans show that we got a bright future ahead of us, and that's all I wanted.
They ain't fit to be sweet for long. I'll tell you that.
Exactly. All right, now let's move on to the most disappointing first round series of the entire playoffs. Memphis versus Minnesota. Real quick, I'm gonna say one thing, and I'm gonna let y'all get into it. I have never seen a team win 4-0 and lose 4-2.
I see.
That's it.
As soon as you said disappointing, I knew it was from the point of like
I
the Timberwolves had so many leads.
I can't argue with you. I cannot argue with you.
Yeah.
Minnesota should have won. Minnesota should have won.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to take the bright side of it because I mean, aside from the Timberwolves choking, you know what I'm saying? Because we all know that. Respectfully, actually, I can't even say that respectfully because like sometimes like Towns and Jaren Jackson just took turns seeing who could be in foul trouble for the longest. But aside from a few minor things, the gameplay was pretty good. It definitely did show that the Grizzlies, even though like they both look bad from the perspective of like one team is able to come back from that massive of a lead, and then the other team is like kind of like you look at them like why are they down that much to have to come back? But we did kind of show that.
Well, because it's looking like Timberwolves really just a great matchup for them.
Yeah. Matchup wise, I didn't really think about how like symmetrical it kind of worked, but it actually turned out better than I expected.
I've never seen a team win a series 4-1 and lose 4-2. They were the better team. They were the better team 85% of that series. It was crazy. Just like, even though Warriors lost tonight, you see, like when there were runs happening, especially early on in the game, wouldn't panic.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. By the way, if you didn't know, Gary Payton elbow fracture.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
MRI tomorrow.
Yeah, like they're just a team with experience that's been there before. We're not gonna let these electric plays that Ja's inevitably gonna make, stutter us or scare us or fluster us. Minnesota, man, if this doesn't sit on their minds all year, I don't know what is. I don't think they need to do anything with the team. Personally, I know there's a report that they're trying to move D'Lo.
I
don't think they need to move D'Lo.
They're probably gonna do that. They're probably gonna do that.
I don't think they need to.
I mean, like,
team played well.
I mean, like overall for that, like there were certain games where he showed up, but for overall as a series like whole, he was an afterthought. At least to me.
See, but see, that's the thing, and that's the problem with the coach. That's another problem with the coaching. Not the second option. He's not the first option. He is the third option.
Yeah.
Best. You shouldn't be taking more shots than Karl-Anthony Towns. You shouldn't be taking more shots than Ant Edwards. Shouldn't even be close. You shouldn't have the ball in your hands with the time winding down, trying to ISO a football player. Desmond Baines, for those of you who don't know. D'Lo looked at Desmond and said, "I want some of that." Like, I know.
I need it.
Exactly. Like, you shouldn't be in that situation. That's coaching. I mean, like, draw up a play or establish the pecking order that, hey, bro, like this is either Ant Karl's team. It's Ant's team, honestly. But
I give it to Ant over Cat, honestly.
Do too, because I think that it's crazy. I still think that Cat is a better player at this point in time, but Ant has that factor, that
he gets
attitude, just like, I'm gonna be that guy. Yeah, like, bro, if Karl had that same attitude, we wouldn't even be having a discussion right now. If Karl had the same attitude as like an Ant Edwards, John Morant, Embiid, easily, he'd average 40.
Yeah.
Like, Ant is just, I'm not Ant. Karl is just, I don't know.
Hopefully,
secondary guy.
It's like hopefully this is like this, like it was supposed to be the slap in the face, and for a minute it kind of did because obviously they made it this far. But hopefully this is like that extra, like not even a slap, but like a literal like jaw jacking Mike Tyson punch to just let them know that like, hey, you're talented,
right?
But you need to be better because Ant showed up. Like there was no question. Pat Bev at certain points in this series. This is the best he's looked in years.
I'm not gonna say that Cat like completely shit the bed because there were
Yeah.
games where he was playing well. There were times that Ant shot them out the game.
Yeah.
That
Cat
like
shot
shit.
well, but he didn't shoot enough because of the foul trouble and
Ain't
everything.
yeah, exactly. He did that. He would because he wasn't aggressive. It's just like was it game 5?
I think it was game 5.
Game where that was the game where Ja hit that the layup to win, and Ant was throwing a bullshit after bullshit in the fourth quarter, and then he does hit the three to tie the game, but then takes the absolute worst angle Ja Morant that I've ever seen. Why would you?
yeah.
It looks like he's running like a. It's not a flare screen. He's basically running some action coming toward the inbounder to basically do an end cut to the rim.
Yeah.
And instead of playing him over the top between him and the goal, he goes behind him trying to steal the ball. Like
Yeah.
with like 3 seconds left. and instead, you don't get to steal. Of course you don't. And then you leave Ja with the open lane.
Open Baja.
The one guy who you absolutely should not give a layup to.
Yeah.
And then he gives him a layup to win to lose the game, I should say. We've talked about this. You guys know how I feel. I blame the coach a lot, a whole lot.
I mean,
They're like 85%. Damn near 85%.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I look at Finch, and like I told you, I think a couple of days ago when we talked about it, like I see more frowns with Nash than I do with Finch. Finch, at least at one point, had the game in hand. Steve Nash never had it in hand in most of those games.
But here's the thing. Can we say that he had the game? It's getting to the point with Finch for me that I don't even. And we're gonna have to see this going forward. I don't even want to give him as much credit their season because I'm just looking at the play. I'm looking at the talent that he has. There's no way that they shouldn't have been in the playoffs with that amount of talent. And it's the talent is just playing. They're literally just playing a fast-paced offense, and they have the talent. I mean, but like when the playoff starts, that's when your coaching is supposed to shine.
Yeah.
He shit the bed every game. There's no way that you should be allowing team to be going on 15, 20 point runs for 5 consistent games.
And also
it was literally 5 consistent games. They had double digit leads
twice in one game.
Third or fourth quarter. Yeah, every single game. Every single one. It's just like I know the difference between good teams and bad teams. I get it. Like the Suns, when they're leading into the third quarter, they're 50-0.
Yeah.
Just like as a coach, when you see that, you're supposed to implement some change. I don't know, like make sure your team is getting good shots when you have these leads, so you don't blow them. Run some pick and roll action if it need be. Get Carl rolling. Even post him up. Like Carl has great post moves. He's not just a 3-point shooter, even though as the years go by, he falls more and more away from the post.
He's in the best shooting center era of his career.
And it's just like I don't know. Like I don't. To me, that's unacceptable. That happens one more time, he's gone. I know they're not going to fire him now. Obviously, it's his first year there, and they made the turnaround and they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
Man, you got to be looking at him like, how did this happen?
Yeah, but his seat is definitely colder than Steve's. For right now.
Oh, for sure.
It's
for sure. Steve's chair should be
scorching.
Scolding.
Yeah.
Scorching. Yeah. It
Couldn't even be a seat.
I don't know. You're right. I don't even know. I don't know Finch's like background, but I'm sure he was a coach or an assistant somewhere.
Yeah, I think he was an overseas coach.
So, hey, it's a coach.
Yeah,
Steve Nash was never even an assistant.
Next season, he'll have it for sure.
Like, bro, like you gotta like understand, like think about how we were killing like somebody like Steve Kerr for getting that job, even though he's been a GM, an executive, an analyst. Like he's been a pretty solid GM. Like he's been in the front office positions. You know what I mean? And we were killing him for getting a coaching job. Steve Nash has never even been a part of a team front office, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
I think he was like a
question that when he got signed, they were like the experience factor is glaring, and as you can tell, It's getting worse. So
Yeah, that shit is crazy. But yeah. And I guess back to the series with the Wolves and Grizzlies. The Grizzlies, yeah, like I said, it really just seems like the Timberwolves were just a great matchup for them, and it was more about the matchup than the Grizzlies not being able to sustain something in the postseason. I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so I guess we'll move on to the next one. The 3-6 matchup: Golden State versus Denver. Thank God Jokic didn't get swept. That's literally all I have to say.
Yeah.
More or less, yeah. Because I mean, wasn't really anything out the ordinary. Because I mean, it's just Jokic. Honestly, if we keep it in a stack.
Yep.
Even with Morris having good games and Gordon actually looking like a number 3 option, I mean, it's just Jokic. So
Yeah. At least
Did
they
we
got.
expect
At least they
anything
got.
else?
At least they got one. Jokic played his ass off.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Did we expect any other outcome?
Yeah, I don't think there's really any other optimism as far as what could
Yeah.
happen to that series. I mean, all I know is it was a pool party. I know that for sure.
If it was a pool party, for sure.
So
A pool party that was accompanied by a couple of splashes.
yeah,
Well,
had even had a little party on the side. You know, they brought in Draymond for a little party. He had a couple slashes. You know what I'm saying? Like it was.
man. Well, we got Dallas and Utah, the 4-5 matchup. Utah sucks. Yeah, I've been saying that for a while. This year they suck. Time to blow it up. Time to trade Donovan Mitchell. Shit, trade Rudy Gobert. Honestly, too. It really is time to blow it up. The team has been maximized. Just give up, bro. Just move the Jazz to somewhere else.
Oh, about all that.
Just come to KC and change your name, and we'll make you a real team.
Shit.
Utah. Even when we were talking about it, I knew they weren't going to win the series for multiple reasons. Donovan is not the same player that they drafted. He went from a 2-way player to just buckets. Him and Rudy don't click. Outside of Jordan, when Donovan sits down, they have no buckets. Bogdanovich is, as much as I love Bogdan is my guy, but or Bojan, not Bojan. That's not working. Them getting rid of Ingles was a sign that they kind of realized that, like, hey, our time might have passed, but now this is just a nail in the coffin. Like, you lost to a Mavericks team without Luka. That right there puts it in perspective that, like, you at one point y'all were the number 1 seed and you lost to Brunson and Dinwiddie, and at some point
you let Jalen Brunson, who is a nice player, you let him average 28 on you in the playoff series. He's not Paul George.
He didn't have
like,
a game
bruh.
under 19, and at one point
he averaged 28.
Yeah, at one point he gave you 40. Like it, and it's like that whole team is just they're fatigued from playing.
It's time to blow it up.
Yeah, they gotta. Obviously, that Rudy Gobert stuff when he said he or him was probably fabricated, but on paper, that's literally what it has to be. You have to pick.
It has to be. But the thing is, my thing is, you have to move them both, because
hard reset.
Yeah, because you're not gonna get the type of need back for Rudy Gobert to compete, and if you trade Donovan Mitchell, you have nothing.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. So you might as well trade them both. It's unfortunate.
Because I mean, for the most part, I mean, you could trade Rudy to a contender, get you a low draft pick in the off season. Mitchell, maybe a sign and trade. I don't know with who. So that you can somewhat salvage like something, but
no, you trade Donovan to New York for a couple firsts and Cam Reddish and somebody else.
I got if they had a couple firsts, Cam and quickly, I'd take that. I like Quickly a lot.
That sounds about right.
That's probably
But
the
I mean,
best
but also,
deal on the table for him.
but also Donovan is a weird fit too, though, because he's so undersized. So it's like
Just
it's
yeah,
not.
it was ugly compared to what happened last year. It was ugly. Donovan played hero ball, didn't pass to Gobert.
I mean, but
They,
what am I
it,
passing the ball to Gobert
I
for?
mean, just try to place him in and out. I mean, they played absolutely atrocious perimeter defense.
Who's it? I
Uh,
mean, they don't. They don't really at
now,
this point. They don't really have defenders. I don't know. I think I agree with you, Gramps. It's not a. It did play bad. It's not a great fit with him or Gobert though. That's the thing. Like with both of those guys need to succeed, the other just isn't. So like Rudy Gobert needs like an elite playmaker, like play initiator, like a Trae Young, Luka Doncic type of player. Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell's not that. Donovan Mitchell needs another like perimeter two-way star, like a Paul
Or
George,
Zach LaVine.
something like that. In my opinion, I wouldn't even say Zach because I don't know. Like I wouldn't say Zach's like a dog on defense. Like it's hard to tell because since Donovan's been there, they've asked him to do so much on offense that I really don't know if he's even able to tap into his defensive instincts anymore or his defensive potential, I should say. Because when he came into the draft, we all know like he was locked down. That was a big thing. Like his defensive potential was very high. But since he came into the league, he's just been asked to carry offense for basically every year. Every year he's here, and he's been in the league. And I mean, he's had some really good performances, man. It's just like we forget about it, but like the year that the Nuggets went to the conference finals, he was dropping 40s and 50s alongside Jamal Murray. Like they were going back to back. Exactly. It just team just wasn't getting it done because man, they just to me they don't have the talent. You can't have Rudy Gobert being your second best player. You can't be getting paid like a max player and you can't give me a bucket. I don't know. I can't remember who it was, but I remember we got into a conversation a couple of years ago because he was all NBA third team, and I had a huge issue with it because he was the only player on that list who just couldn't get me a bucket. Everybody on that list, I was like, I can give them the ball, and they can give me buckets. And we always say this, or I feel like we say this a lot. The game's about more than scoring, but I mean, scoring is the main thing, and the best players can score the ball. That's always been that way. He just ain't one of them. He can't be the second best player. Probably can't be the third best player.
Yeah.
It's not even an insult. It's just like
Just factual.
Yeah, it's just a fact, man. Like
Because
for you to be, I don't know. I feel like for you to be the third best player.
Bad, but they just
No, it's not.
they
But
don't
right
like
now
that team
they're
doesn't have an
stuck.
identity at all. Because at one point
They
he
don't.
could be
They're
defense,
just.
and it's not that anymore. So
I mean, then it used to be like offensive system, Quinn Snyder, but like it's just time for a hard reset. You can't after you lose into being down to the Mavericks without Luka. Like it's time to let that go, man.
It's not really much to
I
even
mean,
say from the Mavericks perspective, for me at least.
I mean, and it's very much more likely now than it would have been a year ago because let's not forget who's kind of in charge at this point.
Who?
Trader Danny.
True.
Oh.
Yeah.
He has no problem doing it.
I mean, he needs to do it.
Yeah.
It's time.
At that point, he got to flip the switch. They might need a Sam Presti like Thanos snappage reset. Like I don't care. I don't care if Utah doesn't make the playoffs for the next 3 years. You need to figure out your identity. Like your window is closed with this iteration. It's closed.
Fuck it. Trade Donovan Mitchell to Atlanta. Fuck it.
Trade him.
I mean, he's definitely undersized, but I mean, it's not like Kevin Huerter's out here locking people down. So
Sure, at that point, maybe Donovan will go back to playing some defense again because he has to.
I mean, yeah, but if he's with another elite talent like that, it could get scary. We've never seen him with it. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things where it's just like we've never seen him be able to play with somebody who can also dictate and command a double team if need be.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, swap with Dallas for Brunson. Fuck it. Like, do something.
signing for it. I mean, yeah, there's places for Donovan to
Yeah.
go
There's a couple of places.
to where he could be with another star for sure.
Yeah.
Like Dallas and Atlanta definitely come to mind.
Yeah.
Should yeah.
I don't mind that New York trade you came up with either.
Yeah.
Although, you know,
Yeah, I mean, I said that one because I saw reports that they were like him and New York were linked, but I mean, if he goes to New York, it's still kind of the same problem.
Because RJ Barrett really.
Well, the
RJ's
problem
not
is
that
that
bad.
the team is fine, but if they trade for him, they're going to lose some of those guys.
Yeah,
I can't imagine.
They're gonna lose at least 2 pieces.
I mean, I can't imagine anybody trading with the Knicks and not getting for a star player and not getting RJ Barrett.
Yeah.
You have to get like if you want Donovan Mitchell, I need RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish. I need both.
I need both.
I mean, I'm serious. Well, because Cam
I-
hasn't played. Cam has no trade value. He hasn't played. I mean, we all know his talent, but like, if you call me talking about you want this and that for Cam, with what draft stock he hasn't played.
Yeah, you have no leverage.
I know
with
we
him.
know his talent, but it's like, yeah, it's just like I know, you know. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's rough. But yeah, that's basically the moral of the story. I feel like. Moving on to the conference semis, they started off. Couple teams have played 2 games already, but we'll start off with in the East we have Miami versus Philadelphia. Miami won the first game, 1-0, I believe.
Yeah, went up.
Or no, have they played 2?
no, they
Yeah, they won so far.
with
Wow.
as this is as we're recording,
Oh, yeah,
it's technically the EA time. It'll be
later
later tonight.
Okay,
That and Dallas
Oh, yeah, Phoenix.
and
Yeah.
yep.
Miami is James Harden's worst nightmare, and without Joel Embiid, they don't stand a chance.
And Embiid's at least missing
Probably the next
the
2
next game. Yeah, they said they said he could maybe play 3 or 4 because he'll clear concussion protocol, but at best he'd have to wear
Like a mask or
a
something.
giant mask on his face. Yeah,
People get black.
Yeah.
We'll get Black Mask and be back. And he was kind of cold.
Might be too late by then.
Yeah, I mean, I go like if they get down 3-0, which is definitely possible because, like you said, they're giving Harden the flux.
I mean, 2-0. Honestly, I mean, I mean, with Embiid, I would have given them a shot. It's in 6 or 7. Like that's like with Embiid every game. If they get down 2-0, I mean, they would have to win the next. They would have to win the 4 out of the next 6.
4 straight. They're already in a hole with 2.
So I mean,
It's
not it's a tough. It's a tough break for Embiid for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as James, I mean, they have way too many bodies to throw at him, and then they also have PJ Tucker, who someone brought. I heard someone say this, and this is also a very good point.
Mm-hmm.
He was his teammate for years, guarded him and every day in practice, knows his tendencies and everything.
Forgot all
And
about that.
it doesn't help that James is probably a half step slow now too.
Yeah.
So like PJ knows what your tendencies are, and you're slower than you were. So it doesn't help.
He basically giving out the sauce on top of the fact that, like you said, Harden's taking a step back. But this Miami team has something to prove. Like they've been called the worst number 1 and all that stuff. So
if you're not gonna, Miami's not gonna let you beat them with like just a straight up star player. I don't think they're not gonna be beaten by one player. Yeah. They just have so many guys that can come at you. Like you got Jimmy, you got Kyle if he's healthy, you got Hero, you got Bam, you got Depot if he's gonna be healthy and playing like he was playing, and you still have guys like Duncan, like proven guys. So
it's a lot of bucket getters they could really throw out there, and then they buy into a system defensively. Like But like a lot of them guys on the bench might not be the best defenders, but they're gonna act like it. So
Yeah, it's definitely probably too much for Philly. and that sucks because
I would be surprised if Philly
when
gives
they
a sleep,
lose
I
this
ain't gonna lie.
series, yeah, I mean, like I said, it sucks because when they lose this series, man, I mean, it's unfortunate, but this is what James is gonna be known for, man. He's gonna be known as the guy that just does not get it done in the postseason, and I mean, regardless of the reason,
It just
there's
doesn't
too many
happen.
examples.
And he's got the opt out, right? Where you can try to get another supermax.
No one's gonna. I don't.
I'm not
I
saying he
hope-
should
I
get
hope
it.
not.
I'm not talking about him getting it. I'm just saying, but he has the option, though, doesn't he?
No, he's probably going to opt out, but I
Yeah.
hope nobody gives him a super
He
max.
can
I hope
opt
nobody's
out, but
that stupid.
anybody that pays him like it's 2015 Harden, you're out of your mind. Literally, you're out of your mind.
Like he would have to. You have to make a complete like 180 for me to even consider that.
He's getting close to Melo
Like,
territory, where it's like he's gonna take what he can get. Low key.
I'm not. I mean, he's definitely still going to be arguably a max player, 20 million. That's still there. I mean, he's still going to be averaging 20, and like he can still give you 20 and 10.
Yeah.
There's not many players in this league that can do that. If any, it's probably one or two. It's probably three players in this league that can give you 20 and 10.
Yeah.
One of them is not even in the playoffs right now. Actually, two of them are not in the playoffs. Trae Young, LeBron James, Luka Doncic, James Harden. Yeah, well, efficient 20 and 10. Shouts out to Russell Westbrook. Anyway, but yeah, man, he's been struggling. It's just been bad his whole career. Like I said, he doesn't choke every game. But I mean, even from when he was a young Thunder, he chokes in the finals. He does not play well. It's a large reason why they lose 4 games straight because he does not play well. Yeah. And it happens every time. Happens every time. And if he would have just sucked it up and stayed on the Nets, maybe we could be having a different conversation.
Yeah, could be a different, completely different aspect for him. But here we are. So
here we are. Either way. Next Eastern Conference matchup is Boston Celtics and Milwaukee Bucks. The series is now tied 1-1 after Boston tied the series this night. And yeah, I'll let Grims go first with his thoughts.
Celtics played like I expected them to. Like they've been playing for the last 4 months, 4.5 months.
Okay.
I figured that game 1 was an aberration. Neither team shot well. Boston shot particularly poorly.
An aberration, eh?
Shooting 36% from the field. I'm not talking about the 3-point percentage, but 36% from the field. Yeah. I say it's an aberration.
Giannis putting Tatum in a crib wasn't no aberration.
All right. Are you talking about the one play where Tatum literally tripped Tatum, but everybody's like, "Oh, he come on."
No, it's not about the fact that he tripped him. It's about it's kind of like the same thing as like when you crossing somebody over and they're like moving so much that they step on your foot and they trip themselves. Like you're just so overwhelmed or outmatched in that situation. Like look at the play again. Look at how he was just moving this man, and he's just like literally just like a baby. Yeah, he did trip, but like he's just getting moved. Like, bruh.
I mean,
I didn't say.
So even if you skip that out, though, he still threw it off the glass.
I didn't say Tatum. Tatum will do his best to guard him when he needs to. I didn't say he's going to clamp him up or anything.
They don't need to put him on him anymore.
I'm not delusional.
Grant Williams, thick body self, and or Al Horford. Those are the 2 guys that need to be on Giannis.
Yeah. I'll say generally now what I have been consistently saying, I want that for the record, consistently saying this is going 7.
Yeah, but you've also been consistently saying that the Bucks in 7. But that was also before Chris Middleton gets hurt, and he is the Celtic killer, and he's
Yeah.
not here.
Yeah.
But if Giannis wants to be considered,
And
if he wants to be
there was
the unquestionable best player in the world, and he needs to get it done.
and there was no Marcus Smart tonight. So
I think Marcus gonna be out for a bit too.
I don't believe so because I think Game 3 is Friday. I would expect he plays with the layoff. I expect he.
Well,
Yeah.
no, game 3 is until Saturday, I don't think.
Oh yeah,
they got 3 days. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because if they play Game 1 Sunday, it's practically a week. I'd say he'll play. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Should be a very fun series though, because I mean, hey, we've seen it in both.
It definitely will.
So far, like,
It definitely will. It definitely will. It's been like this for the last 3 years. They're always good games.
Yeah.
That's true. Hopefully, Bud won't be a knucklehead and he'll make the adjustments that were clearly there to be made.
Can I just say this real quick?
What's up?
Whoever wins the series is in the finals. Despite the fact that I already made my prediction.
I think both teams would struggle to beat the Heat.
I'm about to say, like, the Heat right now look like they look like an iteration that could definitely pose a big threat to any of these teams.
I mean, I give you guys, it's a toss up with you and the Heat. I mean, yeah, you guys you are a better team than you were. Was a couple years ago when Bam blocked that Jason Tatum dunk, but they're a better team too, and they're deeper than they were. Yeah. It's a toss up, and then the Heat always play the Bucks. As far as like they might have lost in 4 last year, I think, but like
they played them tight.
They play Giannis well. They play Giannis well, and if Chris Middleton is not going to be there and not 100%, that is a issue for them if they play the Heat. That is a huge issue.
Yeah. That revolving door defense, just like how Boston was able to add it to their game, the Heat are doing kind of a similar thing when it comes to you're not going to beat us with one guy. It's going to be a team operation.
I mean, if this goes 7 games, Middleton will have had enough time he'll be back.
I mean, maybe.
Hopefully, yeah. Because I mean, shoot, I don't even think.
Well, they said 2 to 3 weeks.
Booker got a similar injury though, so but they
it'll be probably a little over. It'll probably be over a little 3.5 if it goes full. But even I don't know. I'm not gonna assume that he'll be fully 100%. You know what I mean? And even if he is, I assume he would at least be a little out of rhythm. And even if he's not a little out of rhythm, wasn't playing that well to begin with anyway.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of things he's got to get sorted out before I'm just gonna take him over the Heat. I mean, yeah, they got Giannis, but I mean, shit, the Heat got Bam.
Yeah, like you said, he even if they just make it to where it's Bam takes the bulk of the work. Bam has shown in previous years that he ain't gonna get babied by Giannis. So.
Bam is a good defender of Giannis, I believe. So.
Yeah. Bam has one of the better numbers against him as far as on ball scenario. So.
Yeah. But yeah, great series. Expect great things. I still think the Bucks are gonna pull it out though, because I think Giannis is the best player in the league, and I think he proves it.
That point I won't argue with.
Man.
Okay, that's fair. Move on to the Western Conference. We have the number 1 seed Phoenix versus the 4th seed Dallas Mavericks, and this series will be over in 5 games. They're going to play Luka straight up, like they did in Game 1. He can have 45, he can have 50, he can have 60, however many points you have. In one of these games, it's going to be enough. The majority of the other ones, it's not going to be. No one else will get involved. We're not going to double you. We're not going to allow you to get everybody else involved and play everybody straight up. We'll let you get your points. and nobody else will have anything, will win by double digits every game. And I mean that's what I see.
Probably.
Yeah, Luka's the best player in the series, but
Yeah. From a team
it's not
aspect,
enough.
defensively, they're more inept than the Utah Jazz to contain them because they got Cam Johnson, we got Bridges over here, we got Crowder. At sometimes we can throw him on you. Shoot Torrey Craig even. That's an extra body. That's free 6, or an extra 6. So it's not going to be that easy for him to like get his ISO shots off that he's looking for.
And it's not to hate on Luka either at all anyway. It's just me pointing something out. I feel like if Luka was more of an elite athlete, I would give them a better chance. I know that's kind of unfair to say, but
I mean, in this scenario, like it's not too bad because I mean it's basically like a thing of you have the bodies that are like not only like almost similar in length to him, but they're also a little bit more agile. So the movement that he's coming at them with, they're able to cut it off before he really like gets going. So it's another
yeah, he's not beating anybody by like speed or athleticism. Like he's not really getting a lot of easy shots.
Yeah, like,
you know what I mean? And like
Bridges beat them. He really can't beat Bridges off the dribble. Can't really touch Cam off the
right
dribble for the most part. So
and it's just like I don't know. They're just throwing so many bodies at him. Like he's gonna get his for sure. Phoenix is just they're a lot, man. And to me, Phoenix is a perfect team. And they're deep. But they can't afford to lose certain people. You know what I mean? We saw that with Devin when Devin got hurt. They can't afford for Chris or Devin really to get hurt. But if those guys are healthy, or even Bridges, or those top 4, I don't think they can really afford them to get hurt. But like if they're all healthy, they're a perfectly balanced team. And they're getting great minutes from their bench. I mean, you got JaVale McGee giving just some fantastic minutes. I mean, stripping Luka, banging on people. Who knew? Not I. Yeah, I don't know. I like Suns in 5, but at least Luka got out the first round, so we can stop all that hoopla. Gramps.
I mean, yeah, probably 5. I wouldn't be shocked if it was a sweep, but I'll give Luka 1.
Yeah, I gotta give him 1.
yeah,
I got to after he dropped.
I don't gotta give him 1, but he'll probably get 1.
I mean,
all right.
if we look at it from the Clippers series, he's not gonna get swept. He gonna get 1. He gonna have a game. He'll have a game where he gets different off. It's a different iteration.
They're a different team, though. That's such a different situation, though. It's like they're just trying to outdo what Luka's doing. They're playing iso ball with Paul and Kawhi. And they're trying to guard him straight. It was like the Suns are just a whale oil machine. Like
that is true.
Yeah.
It definitely gives me like kind of like the whole. It gives me 2007 Spurs versus LeBron like feels. Like Tim Duncan was a little older. You know what I mean? Like Chris Paul's a little older, still an all-star level player. You got the young up-and-coming guys, Tony Parker, a la Devin Booker. You know what I mean? Like, and then you have the third guy, Manu Ginobili. I'm not saying that Mikal Bridges or DeAndre Ayton will be a Hall of Famer, but I mean, I definitely see some all-star bursts for sure in DeAndre Ayton's future.
I mean, it's a reasonable comparison.
Well, yeah, just a well-oiled machine against a transcendent dominant player. It just might not be enough.
And then even with a team like like they have a strong bench,
like bro, like Luka had 40, they were still up by like 16, and they literally just like the Suns really just stopped playing in like the last 3 minutes of the game. They really did. Yeah, for sure. Just
because once they're up, then it turns into like, okay, now we're looking into ways of like stopping your flow more or less. Even if we get down to
they don't lose.
They only got to be 3s. We're stopping
Yeah,
something.
they don't blow games.
Yeah.
They don't blow games. As their record show, when they're leading in the third quarter, they're 50-0. So they don't blow games.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think this is a great series matchup for Jalen Brunson either. Personally,
Yeah. Even in
But,
a series where like Chris Paul and Cam Payne are like your point guard counterparts, he's still undersized because he's going into some trees.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's not like, Chris Paul is stout. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you're not gonna body
he's
Chris
stocky
Paul.
6 foot.
Yeah, and he's crafty too. So yeah, not looking good for the Mavericks. Anyway, moving on to the last series, we have the Golden State Warriors versus the Memphis Grizzlies, and I will admit, I don't know who's gonna win this series. I have no idea. On the other hand, I would tell you that I still think Steph Curry's a better player than Ja Morant. But when I say that Ja Morant just has the Warriors number,
He goes crazy against the Warriors. No explanation.
Historically.
Really. He just goes crazy against the Warriors.
well, they don't have anybody that can guard him. They don't. I mean, that's just what it is. They don't have anybody that can guard him. Like Klay Thompson's he can't guard him.
Yeah.
I don't know if he would have been able to guard him even
Pre-injury.
pre-injury because he's a different type. Like he's a different type of player. And even I don't know, like guys that were like, I don't know. Kyrie would give Klay trouble. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying like they're different. Kyrie and Ja are definitely different players, but like just those, I don't know, just like super in a bag type of guy. I don't know. Like they can't guard him. And he knows it. And like the Warriors to me is the team that gave Ja like his superstar confidence. So every time he plays them, it's amplified. And they were terrified of him tonight.
Man.
You can watch it when he touched the ball. Terrified. I mean, he's smacking threes.
I'm gonna say like I think they said the amount of threes he made tonight was the closest. Was like what he made all last series against the Timberwolves in total. Like I think it was like 4.
Yeah, he made 5. He made 5 threes tonight. I think he shot 5 for 12.
Like he already doubled up on that,
Yeah.
or he added on an extra shot to that percentage that he had before. So
yeah.
He
and also, side note,
he definitely does what he has to do.
If he's gonna make that shot at a 35% clip, then kind of a wrap.
Because Bang gonna get his shots up. Jaren from
I mean, he shot the ball tonight. He shot the ball by far the most. I don't think anybody else even had over 14 shot attempts. He took 31 shots and he went to the free throw line, I think, 14 times. So that's at least like 38 shots. Like that's a lot of shots. But I mean, if he's making them, if he's like I said, if he's making that 3-point shot at a 35% clip, I don't see how they're gonna be able to win this series if they just can't stop him. Curry would have to start matching that. Not saying he can't, but
yeah, because throughout the first couple of games, I mean, Curry has showed flashes of trying to beat the surge, make the tough layups, do a couple here and there, even play a little bit of defense. He's trying, but it's just gonna be a lot for them to overcome. Because I mean, even now, like Brandon Clark is starting to flourish into becoming a problem for the future teams.
Yeah,
he's in the way. Like he's up there with it.
Yeah, Ja's giving me some serious AI vibes right now.
Man,
just on how how he's playing, the way he's playing, and the type of energy and attitude. Like he literally was talking shit to Steph Curry after the game.
Oh, he said it's gonna be fun. Like we're gonna have some fun.
And it's crazy because like originally I had like a big issue with him like dancing on the Timberwolves like logo and shit. Like, bro, you're a 2 seed and you were down to a 7 seed doing all this extra shit. Like, but for some reason, I have no problem with it with the Warriors. Because I mean that's the team that's the matchup. I love the energy now. I didn't like the energy, I guess, for a team that you were supposed to beat. Like, act like you've been here before.
Man,
But the Warriors, it's different. Like that's the matchup. And I mean,
based off the
you're
plan,
gonna keep backing it up.
people thought it was a fluke with the plan. You know, well, not even a fluke for the plan, but like playing it was more or less like okay, like it wasn't the full reiteration of the team. I don't think Poole had flourished into what he is now. You know, and they got Draymond. You would think it'd be a little bit different. But,
No, it was, but shit, none of those guys that flourished are gonna guard him.
Yeah.
Because I saw Poole on him tonight, and yeah, he's trying. He's trying. That's all I can say.
Do you think the possibility of Dylan Brooks being suspended at least a game has an effect on this?
I don't know how this works because Draymond didn't get suspended a game.
I don't think it'll be a game, and like, cause I mean,
But I'm saying like Draymond got a flagrant 2 as well, and he didn't get suspended. He was in this game, so I don't know how this works. I thought it.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be suspended because I mean, the same variable that happened with the Gary play was the same variable that happened with the Brandon Clark play. They both could have ended really bad, but in this case, only one really did. So I don't think he'll get suspended. At minimum, a fine, but I don't think it'll be a suspension.
Yeah, I don't think it should, but I don't know. It's gonna be a great series though, for sure.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun.
From a gameplay perspective, like honestly, this is one of the series that I actually really like look forward to every single time they're on dock because they just it's like I said, it's a different energy when the Grizzlies play the Warriors, and it's like seeing the Warriors like trying to match it is also just like very unique to me as well because at some point
it's just
like Wiggins
it's weird,
a little shaky.
It's weird, bro. Like it's like the Warriors team. They're a great team. They have history, they have cachet, and Ja just don't give a fuck about none of that.
like you think about like literally like no pun intended, like the whole like Desmond Bain coming at his neck, Clark coming at his neck, Melton and Tyus Jones, 2 dudes that literally have been ping pong from team to team. They play like they don't give a fuck. So
I mean, yeah, that's fine and dandy. They cool, but I'm talking about that boy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course,
that dog.
Yeah. But I mean, as far as they
go as he goes.
Yeah.
And
but it's also a fact, like if Ja's giving you like tonight he had like 47. I think he tied his career high. This was the second game of the series. If they can at least get some of the production that they got from like Bane from the Timberwolves series, where he was giving you like around 30, Jaren from the first game, damn near shot pretty solid from the 3-point line. There's like if they can get all that consistently for a stretch of the series, they're gonna be able to put them boys away. Well,
I don't know if they're gonna get that production because of the way they're playing right now. I mean, Ja's gonna average 30 plus points for this series.
Yeah.
Just from the sheer amount of shot attempts he's taking. Like they can't stop him.
Yeah,
he gets the shots that he's getting. Yeah,
at will.
I mean, just throughout the entire game, like they have no answer for him. So like he's just gonna take as many shots as he wants because he can get any shot that he wants. You know what I mean? Like yeah, he's taking difficult layup attempts, but those are shots that he wants.
Yeah.
No one on this team can stay in front of him right now, consistently, in my opinion. I would have liked to see Gary get some more time on him, but now he is gone. So, I mean, I don't think Clay or Wiggins is quick enough. I don't know. Maybe you try Wiggins
because Wiggins had a few possessions of like stopping him because he's a bigger body, but as
far
as like
I think Wiggins
for him, they're gonna still have to find one.
I think Wiggins is their best defender at this point in general.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can keep sticking Clay or Poole on Morant and thinking that's going
Yeah, because then it
you
takes
know,
away from
be
Poole
cool.
specifically as far as like what he gives you on the other side of the ball. Because he has double a task.
I mean, hey, if he can guard him, he got to guard him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You
No,
know,
no
I
questions
mean, I
asked.
don't
But it's
know.
like it's one of the things like where it's like shoot like for them it's like
That's
one of
what-
the like when they're past iterations they were able to just throw Clay on the best guy and call it a night. You can't do that
You're
right
right.
now.
But I mean, hey, I'm sure that Morant is seeing Steph and Clay. I'm sure that you got
Multiple times.
if that's what he's doing, you got to match it
Yeah.
exactly. So, series is 1-1. I mean, Ja just gave us something to definitely think about though for sure. But they need to figure something out though. They can't keep letting him do that.
Yeah, but I think it's like that down the stretch. I think he has 16 fourth quarter points, and the Warriors as a whole had 12. So single handedly, he's showing you like I'm taking over this game. With
he looks
a
different
Trey
right
Ball
now.
mixed in, like
He looks different right now.
man, moving real MVP-ish right now.
I'm saying, bro, people was hey, look,
Skip
It looks
most
like-
improved. Put the V in the
It
middle.
looked like man looking like actually I'm not gonna say no blasphemous shit. He looking nice though.
yeah, he
I was
looking,
gonna say
he
some
looking like
blasphemous
Ja
shit.
right now. I can't say anybody else. He looking like Ja right now.
I was gonna say he looking like Allen Rose, but that's disrespect. I just described the greatest player in NBA history right there.
That'll be that's a 13-time All-Star right there and a Hall of Famer with the trophy.
But yeah, I mean, great series matchups. We're definitely looking forward to these conclusions. Anything else you guys want to say on these the conference semis or just anything in general before we close it out?
Not much. I mean, should be a good.
I say
knockout
Celtics
game.
in 5 again.
You don't want to do that.
No.
With Giannis,
No.
nah.
I'm just gonna stay away from saying anything about the Celtics at this point. Too risky.
I mean, it ain't about the Celtics. I don't know if I can doubt Giannis. Hey, that's just.
I didn't know if I could doubt KD. Look where we are.
You right about that too.
I mean, Bud ain't Steve Nash, but he is known for not making adjustments. That's what he's known for.
Don't doubt JT. There you go. That's what I said. There's my statement.
Hey, I ain't gonna doubt him. I ain't gonna doubt him. He has my respect. But well, anything else? Any last words, fellas? No, that was it.
No.
Well, all right. This has been the Going for 3 podcast. Thank you guys for listening. You can follow us on Going for 3 podcast on socials and all podcasting platforms where you can listen to us. And where can they find you, fine gentlemen?
At Tony the Real on Twitter. And don't forget we do have a YouTube channel. We apologize for the mix up last week. Had some technical difficulties. We had fully intended to live stream first round of the NFL draft, and things went awry on us. But look to our YouTube for live content coming soon.
Also, at some point, before I even thought about the Twitter and everything, at some point that first round mini vid we did will be uploaded to the YouTube channel, so you can look forward to that as well. At some point this week, I don't know when, but at some point. But as always, you can follow me on Twitter at PTP_99. Times have changed. Obviously earlier. Aiden Hutchinson, Jamison Williams, enthusiast. That's the tagline right now. Big Lions Den. Fear the dare. That's the Bucks. Never mind. Fear the dead.
Oh, boy.
Scratch that. Yeah.
Ooh, fear the deer. Ooh, blasphemy. Ooh, my ears are bleeding. Oh no. We're gonna have to have words later.
Well, all right. This has been Going for 3. Thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next time.